harami means the birth of a new trend. In a bullish harami, the first candle is bearish and the second candle is bullish, and fully contained within the range of the first candle. In this case, the small bullish candle represents the new uptrend that is about to be born. There can be a small gap up between the two candles, which helps confirm this bullish signal. The logical interpretation of this pattern is that a small bullish body fully contained within a wider bearish candle means that sellers stopped advancing price to the downside and a small bullish pressure began to appear. The bullish harami appears when price is going down in order to signal a reversal to the upside. Next we have the bearish harami, which is a mirror image of the bullish harami. The bearish harami indicates that buyers have stopped advancing price to the upside, and the small bearish candle fully contained within the range of the first bullish candle, opening with a small gap down, implies the birth of a new downward trend. The bearish harami appears when price is going up in order to signal a reversal to the downside. Next in line we have a second type of harami pattern called bullish harami cross. This is exactly like a bullish harami, but the second candle in the pattern is a doji cross. In terms of logical interpretation, the bullish harami cross is a slightly weaker signal than the bullish harami because the second candle doesn't display a bullish body. With that said, in the bullish harami cross, sellers still stop to advance price to the downside, and the doji cross opens with a small gap up to indicate bullish pressure. The bullish harami cross appears when price is going down in order to signal a reversal to the upside. The next pattern is the bearish harami cross, which is the mirror image of the bullish harami cross. In the bearish harami cross, the second candle opens with a small gap down and is fully contained in the range of the previous candle, which has a bullish quality. That indicates that buyers have stopped advancing price to the upside and there is a new potential downward move being born. The bearish harami cross appears when price is going up in order to signal a reversal to the downside. Next, we are going to study two reversal patterns that involve prominent gaps between the first and the second candlesticks. The first of these two patterns is called bullish kicking, which is a very straightforward pattern. The bullish kicking consists in a bearish candle followed by a bullish candle. The main characteristic of this pattern is that there is a prominent gap up between the two candles. The logical interpretation here is that a large gap up implies a high amount of buying pressure. The pattern receives this name because it is as if someone kicked the second candle up, hence the expression bullish kicking. The bullish kicking pattern appears when price is going down in order to signal a reversal to the upside. The other kicking pattern is the bearish kicking, which is the mirror image of the bullish kicking. In the bearish version, the first candle is bullish and the second candle is bearish. The two candles are separated by a prominent gap down that implies high selling pressure. In other words, the fact that the price opened with a large gap down implies that sellers have a lot more power than buyers. The bearish kicking pattern appears when the price is going up in order to signal a reversal to the downside. Now we'll move on to the last two complex reversal patterns that are formed by two candles. The first pattern is called bullish two soldiers, which is a bullish reversal pattern. The main characteristic of the bullish two soldiers is that the candles are isolated by one gap before and one gap after the pattern. The two soldiers in reference to the two candles that form the pattern are two bullish candles that have a small body. The logical interpretation of this pattern is that the two isolated bullish candles imply the beginning of an uptrend. In fact, whenever you hear the word soldier in the context of candlesticks, you can associate it with a bullish quality. The bullish two soldiers appear when price is going down in order to signal a reversal to the upside. Pay attention to the fact that both candles that form the pattern are isolated by one gap down before the first candle and one gap up after the second candle. The next pattern is called bearish two crows, which is the mirror image of the bullish two soldiers. The bearish two crows pattern is formed by two isolated and small bearish candles. They imply the beginning of a downward movement given the position of being isolated by one gap before and one gap after the pattern. The bearish two crows pattern appears when price is going up in order to signal a reversal to the downside. Pay close attention to the fact that there is one gap up before the first candle and one gap down after the second candle. Even though the pattern is theoretically formed by two candles, it's only with the candle after the two crows that we can make sure the two crows are in fact isolated by gaps on either side. Crows are usually associated with death, so the appearance of the bearish two crows represent the death of the uptrend, which implies the birth of the downtrend. Let's move on now to the complex reversal patterns that are formed by three candles. The first set of complex reversal patterns formed by three candles that we are going to study has four patterns associated with what's called the star position. Let's begin by looking at a pattern called Morning Star. The Morning Star is a bullish reversal pattern formed by three candles, where the first is a bearish candle, the second is a small bullish candle with very small or non-existent tails that opens up with a small gap down, and the third is a larger bullish candle that opens with a gap up. The star position is the position of the second candle. In other words, one small candle isolated by one gap on each side. Very much like other patterns we already studied, the small bullish candle isolated implies the beginning of a new uptrend, because even though the second candle opens up with a gap down, which implies selling pressure, the second candle is able to close with a bullish quality. The confirmation of this pattern comes in the third candle, which opens with a gap up and forms a larger bullish body. In other words, we have a double confirmation of buying pressure in the third candle. The Morning Star appears when price is going down in order to signal a reversal to the upside. The expression Morning Star refers to a star that rises, denoting the arrival of an uptrend after the pattern. The next pattern is called the Evening Star, which is the mirror image of the Morning Star pattern. In other words, it's a bearish reversal pattern. The first candlestick is bullish. The second candle in the pattern opens up with a gap up and it forms a small bearish candle, and the third candle is a larger bearish candle that opens with a gap down. Since the second candle opens with a gap up and it ends up forming a bearish candle, that implies buying pressure is losing to the selling pressure. The third candle gives a double confirmation of that by opening with a gap down and forming a bearish quality. The Evening Star appears when price is going up in order to signal a reversal to the downside. The expression Evening Star refers to a star that falls from the sky. It's a simplistic analogy that might help memorize the shape and meaning of the pattern. The next two patterns are very similar to the Morning Star and the Evening Star. The difference lies in the shape of the second candle in the pattern, meaning the candle that is in the star position. The first pattern is called Morning Doji Star. The difference between the Morning Star and the Morning Doji Star is that the second candle is a doji instead of a small bullish candle. In other words, the Morning Doji Star is a slightly weaker signal than the Morning Star because a doji is a neutral pattern. However, the fact that the third candle in the pattern opens with a gap up and ends up being a larger bullish candle still makes the Morning Doji Star a bullish reversal pattern. The Morning Doji Star appears when price is going down in order to signal a reversal to the upside. Once you know what a Morning Star pattern looks like, it becomes intuitive to remember what the Morning Doji Star looks like simply by recalling that the second candle in the pattern is a doji in the star position. The next pattern is the Evening Doji Star, which is the mirror image of the Morning Doji Star. Once again, we can see how these patterns are related. In the Evening Doji Star, the second candle in the pattern is a doji in star position instead of a small bearish candle like in the Evening Star. That's the only difference. The doji candle is still isolated by one gap up and one gap down.